President Donald Trump is an embarrassment to the world, much like George W. Bush, without quite as many war crimes, although he is getting there. Trump has served to unjustly add to the international image of Americans as fat, lazy, and stupid. Now, he started off his visit by lobbing insults at both the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, and London Mayor Sadiq Khan. He called Meghan Markle nasty. And then later on was like, I never called her nasty. Yeah, you did. Anyway, he's just getting started too because he just got there, right? Now, already Americans, in the wake of Trump's latest international bungling, have taken to Twitter to formally apologize to the UK for having to deal with President Dum Dum. Now, I want to read you some of these social media tweets here. First, we'll start with Catherine Hanley, who says, "I'm so sorry. America is so embarrassed by Trump." That is true. Again, so, like, a great example of why President Trump is not the representative of America, despite the president and despite, of course, right-wingers furiously typing on their little keyboards right now and saying, but he's the president of the United States, he represents the entire country. Okay, look, I get it, right? But really, in reality, because voter turnout is so low, about a third of Americans actually voted for President Trump. That's registered voters. And so, in reality, a very small portion of the U.S. electorate voted for Donald Trump. Somewhere around 60 million Americans, 50, somewhere around there. Yeah. And so, let's be honest with that, right? And look, some of those voters were people who were just tired of the system, the brick throwers. I've talked about them before. And of course, I think a rather large chunk of that were just people who were incredibly racist and very ignorant. But, okay. I don't want to get into who exactly the breakdown of people who voted for Donald Trump. But I am saying that it's actually a very small amount of Americans that voted in this last election. And so he doesn't represent the majority of the American people, despite the fact that he is president of the United States. So, anyway. Now, more tweets here. Nick Bearded, Lords of the Flies in Man Buns. That's an interesting Twitter handle. Says, "Dear people of London, specifically in the UK in general, sorry about that Trump guy. We don't like him either." Now, that's true. He is historically unpopular. He's probably one of the most unpopular presidents of the modern era. I mean, you can't go a whole lot lower. But he's going to try because there's no bottom to that barrel. Now, he continues, "If you give him something shiny and say it's magic, he'll be busy for days." And you know what? It's true. Why? Remember the Saudi orb? Yeah. The Saudi orb. I wish I had that picture. But anyway, U.S. Trader Warrior says, "My apologies to our UK friends. Please note that the majority of Americans hate Trump. He's a complete embarrassment to our people and nation. And I'm sorry you have to endure his vulgar stench for 3 long days. Protest your hearts out. We'll be cheering." And look, let's be honest about that. Here you have the UK knowing how to protest. There was a UK teen that mowed a giant, how do I say this right? Mowed a giant phallus into the lawn over where the president was landing into, and said, "Oi, Trump." Just to get his attention. I would show you the picture, but again, it's a giant phallus. So, anyway, that's fun. And of course, you have the Trump baby blimp, which gets basically flown out every time President Trump is anywhere near the UK, which is great. Now, more. Music Loving Liberal says, "We're sorry. Trump is the absolute worst of America. He and his family are criminal, pathologically lying, corrupt, racist enabling, classless, infantile pieces of trash. Man. Okay. Great. Patrick O'Shea, nope, sorry. Daniel Sinkfield says, yeah, I'd like to apologize to the UK now because this disgrace will say and do a ton of things worth apologizing for during this visit there. And we are sorry you have to tolerate him. Who knows what else he's going to do or what else he's going to say. Or what else he's going to say, sorry. Patrick O'Shea says, once again, UK, we're really sorry. This is, in reality, Trump's re-election campaign. Boom. An attempt to burnish his image. He will sabotage this, of course, and we apologize that you have to suffer through it. By the way, please save yourselves from like-minded nitwits who would be PM. And he means Prime Minister. Wow. Okay. Now, you know who's a good example of that? Boris Johnson. Literally the Trump of the UK. Please do the right thing. Maybe have Jeremy Corbyn in there. I think he is the antidote for future Trumpism. What do I say that? Well, it's true. Here you had politicians, for example, like Tony Blair. Tony Blair, is neoliberal, sided with the Bush administration, and went along with basically American imperialism and neoliberalism, and that is the way that paved the way for people like Theresa May, as well as Boris Johnson. So don't make the same mistake that we did, UK, in America, or you will end up with your own international embarrassment. Although it is very difficult to find someone more of an embarrassment than President Trump. As for us, just like in 2016, you got to remember, Trump is a symptom of a failed system. And people like Bernie Sanders are the solution. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.